Good morning. I wanted to go ahead and make a video to provide an update on our house situation and some really amazing blessings that's happened in the past 48 hours. Um, Wednesday was a I want to say, low point in this whole situation. Anyone that's been following our story, it's been it's been really hard. Um, I don't want to sugarcoat it. I want to be very real. We all go through trials. This has definitely been the trial of our life, by all means. It's been the hardest time of our life, and it's challenged us so much on multiple levels. Um, I'd like to say that it hasn't, but when these things happen, it just shakes your world. On Wednesday, my husband tried to go out to a property, and he noticed that he was locked out. There were private property signs put up, new locks put up, and he was unable to access our property. Our property out there is considered our full-time residence, although we are unable to live there considering the conditions that it was left in. It is considered our full-time residence within the county and everything else. And so to see that we were locked out from our full-time residence was very concerning. I contacted the individual that I knew did this, and I brought my concerns to him. Locally, he is known of a man of faith, and so I had biblically questioned the decisions that were made. This individual knew so much about what we were going through. He knew the story, the timing, and the reasoning behind this. I can't fathom. I could never do that to somebody, no matter what. But I talked to this person and I pleaded, and at the end of the conversation, I was granted a set of keys back to my full-time residence, but on a very limited term. And I was told, you need to go figure this out. You need to go create a new easement, and all this. As I'm trying to literally close in my house to save it. And so I fell on my knees. I mean, I just, again, I want to be very real and be very honest. I don't want to sugarcoat it or anything. Like, I got off the phone and my eyes, I couldn't see anything. I was crying so hard. And I just felt defeated. This whole process has been so painful. And I looked at Chris and I'm like, surely, Chris, surely we must have misread something from God for everything that we are going through. And I said those words, and then I just sat there and I was like, we had so many, I don't want to use the word signs, but through our prayer and everything, there was no doubt, no shadow of a doubt that this was what he wanted. This is where we were supposed to be in terms of building. I mean, everything. There was no, I mean, it was such a big decision at the time. I even said, I was like, Lord, if this is your will, this is the exact number. This really is. This is the exact number down to the dollar. We were provided the funds when we sold our property and we made this decision. I can't explain what's going on or why or anything. I can't. It's such a hard situation. But I will say this. The trials around it has been unreal. I felt at times it was more than one individual can fathom, can handle. Like it's so much. And so by the time this fellow did this to us, it was heartbreaking. I called up my neighbor that owns the 36 acres. We're very, very close. They're wonderful Christian people. And I just cried to him. And he's like, I don't think that he can do that, you know? And that night I prayed and I just cried and I said, help. I mean, in my prayers were at the point where it was like one word, It's like, help. And I just cried. The book of Isaiah came in my heart, and around chapter 41, if you guys ever read Isaiah, around verse 10, there's some verses about, the Lord, saying like, fear not, for I am the Lord. And he kind of says these verses, and one of them I just grasped onto, and it said, I will help thee. And so I was like, Lord, help them. You know what? Like I'm like, I do believe you can help me help. And just help our situation. Just help us. Like I felt like we were drowning. And so we were contacted. For months, I had followed up with this builder's insurance company. They had insurance. And so there was work left undone. I didn't know what the insurance covered. I still don't. But this individual reached out, and he was an investigator on behalf of the insurance company. And he came out on Thursday, and he met with my husband, and he's a wonderful man. And he could very quickly and very easily see that what was going on was so wrong. And he was like, this is not right. Something needs to be done with this. And so we submitted all of our paperwork. He completed the investigation on his side, and he turned it in. But right there, I could see that God opened up a door that hadn't been opened yet. I had been reaching out to them since maybe September. And it was always a closed door, but all of a sudden that door opened. Not even 24 hours later, I was contacted by a man who's a general contractor, and he signed up, provided paperwork. He signed up to be our general contractor free of charge to get that house dried in. He felt a burden like no other. And he's like, listen, I'm going to come out there. I'm going to come out there with an inspector. Like, we're going to get you guys closed in. I don't know how you think, people. I made the decision to put this out there because it was so wrong what was going on. And it was like a last hope. I hate asking for help. I want to be the one to help people. It's what God put in my heart for my life. Like, I want to help people. And now I'm at the point of needing help. So I thought to myself, I'm gonna put this thing out there. Maybe people can help us. We have really good friends of ours from San Antonio that was trying to put together a group to work on the framing or work on other things, and trying to come out the end of January. And it's a huge blessing to us. We just didn't know if the house could remain open like that until then. And so I put this out there in like Tyler for sale ads. I just listed what was going on, and I've been flooded with people that are like, hey, I'll put on your roof free of charge. I'll come and I'll do your HVAC. I'll donate some leftover wiring. I'll work. I'm a carpenter. Like, every single one of those, I don't know if they had any idea, but every single one of those I looked at and I was like, God's doing something. He's doing something so mighty. And you know how you can tell too is like multiple things happening at the same time. Yesterday I found out that a judge signed off on our default of I'm going to butcher it because I'm so emotional. I'm sorry. A default judgment, because we had been trying to work with this individual that did this, and it's gotten nowhere. Like, they refuse to respond, everything. and that was granted in our favor. I won't go into too much detail because there's enough people involved to see that they've set themselves up. So when this happens, um, you know, they have a way to try to dodge that payment and things like that. But that was another blessing, right? And so that was just wonderful. Within this whole time frame of 48 hours, my neighbor called me that owns the 36 acres, and he said, I have some news. He said, I just got off the phone with the gas line easement, and they said that the locks and everything, all that was illegal. They said it before, but they have granted us permanent usability of that easement, and they said they will not tolerate anybody putting signs up or new locks or anything because they do not own that property. Those rights have been sold, and the gas line took it very seriously that this was happening, and they said this will not be tolerated. We are cutting off the locks. We will not tolerate this. We are taking down signs. Our signs are the only ones up, and you guys can use it anytime you want. You can use it to access your home, whatever you need. If you would like to slightly make modifications or something, as long as it's not interrupting us being able to get to what we intended, like you can fix it up or whatever. I was just so blown away. I called my husband yesterday because I was working at the church, and I just couldn't wait. I just couldn't wait. And he just had this huge grin on his face. And I said, when you're praying tonight with the kids, I said, just tell them everything. Tell them everything that he's doing. Give him all the glory, like this is all him. I don't know. I really don't. We don't know what he wants for us. We really don't. But it seems like he's trying to help us. It really does. And again, I'm so sorry to be emotional. I love talking to people. I like presenting and stuff like that. Making videos about something so personal is so hard and putting it out there. But the thing is, like, we should be sharing our blessings. We should be sharing our burdens. We should see that each other is going through things. The Christian life isn't just a walk through the park. You are challenged on multiple levels. Like, you will still go through things. We are sinful people by nature. Like, we're not perfect. And this life certainly isn't perfect. Jesus was the only one that was perfect. So I just, again, I wanted to share these blessings with you all. Thank you all so much for continuing to pray for us and praying for our situation. We'll continue to keep you updated in what God does next, what doors he opens, what doors he closes. Thank you so very much for listening and being on this journey with us.